Hello, this is Pat with Our Blind Perspective. I'm just going to take a little bit of time to talk about my blindness, my visual impairment, my legal blindness, my partially sighted, partially blind. Sighted people have a tendency to believe that those of us who can't see are all blind. That's not exactly true. In fact, only 90% of people, only 10% of people who are declared blind are actually blind, meaning everything black. I have a cane in front of me. I do use a cane. I don't necessarily need it. I have sunglasses on, mainly because the sun is in my eyes, but there's nothing wrong with my eyes. I was born with genetic optic atrophy. What that means is, here's my eyeball, here's my optic nerve. In my case, when I was born, the disease started killing the ends of the optic nerves. At this point in my life, they are totally dead and gray right through here, turning to a lighter gray and turning to kind of a white and then turning to pink, a healthy pink like many sighted people do or have. So I went along in my life with actually no problems with my eyesight till I was about in the 6th grade. And in the 6th grade, the disease started changing my life, meaning I couldn't see very well. In my case, my parents decided not to tell anyone about it, and we kept it a secret, kind of like a family secret. I didn't get any special training, any special education, none of those types of things, and kind of fought my way through life, which I'll talk about in a later video. I fought my way through life and through school all the way up till I was 15 years old. When I was 15 years old, my parents, we lived in the country, they really wanted me to drive. My parents tape recorded the eye test so that I could memorize the eye test so I could then start driving. I'm not sure what my vision was back then. My vision today is 2400. In a very basic term, what that means is I see in 20 feet what most people see in 400 feet. And that's really, really basic. What's unique about my eyesight is that I have perfect peripheral vision, up, down, around. I have perfect color vision. I have distance vision, but it's not like most people's distant vision. So I started driving at 15 years old and had I have no idea how many accidents I have. Probably totaled 6 or 8 vehicles between 16 and 21. I had a bit of a drinking problem, and as a result of drinking and the poor eyesight, accidents were a big problem for me. I got 2 DUIs before I was 21 years old and totaled, as I say, 6 to 8 vehicles and lost my driver's license. I then figured out a way to reobtain my driver's license, which I'll talk about in another video. So driving was difficult for me in the beginning. It took me a while to figure out what I was seeing, what I wasn't seeing, and my parents weren't helping me at all. My parents never explained to me, hey Pat, you don't see like other people, you need to drive differently, etc. They literally let me tape record the eye test, memorize the eye test, and put me directly into a vehicle, and off I went. In hindsight, I don't really recommend this for anyone. Number 1, I was breaking the law. Number 2, I was endangering other people. Number 3, it taught me to not deal with my visual impairment, my blindness, my partial sight, whatever we want to call it. It taught me how to not deal with it. I actually will share it with you how I drove illegally up till I was 49 years old, up until 2012 actually. I don't recommend this. I'm not condoning this. I don't want anybody to drive illegally. In fact, if you're driving illegally, I would strongly suggest you quit. Is it going to suck? Absolutely. I quit because my eyesight was horrible. I was tired of lying. I had stress beyond your imagination, and that stress was causing me all sorts of other health issues. Once I went to an eye doctor and found out how bad my eyesight was, which was I can barely see the large E at the top of the eye chart when I quit driving, I quit. I decided enough was enough. Quit lying, quit pretending to be sighted, quit pretending to be something I'm not. I decided that though I don't really like being visually impaired and I struggle to accept it, I don't like being legally blind, I struggle to accept it. Being legally blind or visually impaired and in prison probably isn't going to be that fun. Being legally blind or vision impaired knowing that somebody hit me and got killed because I was on the road and I shouldn't have been, and a whole myriad of other things that could happen to me. though I drove illegally my entire life, I never had a bad accident. I got a few tickets. Nothing serious ever happened to me because I learned, I had been taught, trained, taught myself tricks, figured out what to do and how to do it for my entire life. It wasn't just like I'm a sighted person who miraculously has something happen to their eyes and they decided I'm going to start driving today legally blind. For me, it was that way my whole life. I'm going to do videos about what the driving was like, about what I've done being legally blind. I'm going to do videos about Bo, the service dog. My buddy Josh is going to do videos about, riding a motorcycle legally blind. And what we really want to explore and discuss is how you have a world of blindness, you have a world of sight, and in between those two worlds is a whole bunch of us who have varying degrees of vision loss, varying degrees of visual impairment, varying degrees of blindness. Some of them easy to understand, some of them not so easy to understand. Some of them get worse, some of them are what they are. In my case, because my disease is genetic, it's slowly getting worse. I most likely will never be completely blind. I can, in today's world, easily walk around. I could build a house. I've pulled motors. I've done body work. I've ridden motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs. The list goes on and on. I've worked on boats, cars, never on a train, and done a lot of things that a lot of sighted people possibly aren't going to do or never will do. The visual impairment, the vision loss, for all practical purposes, where it really slows me down is the ability to drive. I miss driving like nothing else. I miss that independence, that freedom, that choice, the ability to do what I want, when I want, and go where I want. But this is my life. This is the disability I've been handed. This is the disability that I have. This is who I am. So I'm going to talk about those things. I'm going to explain those things, and I'm going to show you how I do what I do. I and Josh also are going to introduce you to other visually impaired people, legally blind people, and hopefully teach the sighted viewer kind of what it's like to be us. So, if you're interested, please like, share, subscribe to our channel, because we're going to show you some things that A, a lot of sighted people can't do, and B, you would think somebody that legally blind cannot do. My name is Pat, and this is Our Blind Perspective.